Mythos Busters, investigating the mystery, monsters, and madness of Arkham Horror, the card game.
We didn't happen to record that, did we?
Oh, we did.
Oh, fuck yeah! All right, hey everyone, welcome to Mythos Busters episode 169. If we leave that cold open in, you know it's me, Sean, and it's Justin, and it's Scott, and it's Ian,
Hi.
and it's Nick.
Hello.
And we're all here on this evening. And it's such a treat, because this is like the only time we ever get to record in person, looking into each other's eyes and reading each other's nonverbals and still talking over each other anyway.
Yeah.
It's like Mythos Busters guarantee.
But we sit here tonight on the eve of BusterCon 2024.
7-3, you think it'd be higher than 3. 7-3. Don't explain it. Don't explain it.
I want to explain that joke, but like...
Don't. I will get so angry if you explain it.
But the problem is when you dissect a frog, you have to kill the frog, right? Like...
That's what I mean.
Anyway, so yeah, Nick was around, and he was nice enough to join us for tonight. I don't have any real agenda. We're kind of talking about what's going on. The Drowned City was announced, so Nick confirmed game dead.
100%. But luckily,
Marketing.
Luckily, that is not dead, which can eternal lie.
Oh.
I'm pointing at the microphone as if the eye is fucking see me. Yeah, no, game is not dead. We are doing the Cthulhu expansion. Very, very excited for it.
I knew I could count on you.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the first thing when I got hired. I'm like, all right, Cthulhu. And they're like, well, hang on. I'm like, okay, fine.
Hang on for like 8 fucking expansions.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of discourse on the internet with like, if they're doing Cthulhu, that's got to mean the end of the game, right? Because where do you go from there? Well, it turns out we've got ideas. So
yeah, well, bro, it turns out that like when the game was announced, there were threads of like, how long do you guys think this game will last? So like the people who are just anxious that the game is about to die will always be there, and they will always need our comfort.
Yeah,
guys, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It was very exciting. I had a chance to look at the box. I just talked to Duke about this because we had him on stream, so go check that out on YouTube if you haven't already. So I had a chance to talk to him about this stuff a bit. But I had a chance at Gen Con to like breeze by the little display where they had the box and like try to suss out who's there. And like there's familiar faces and whatnot, but there's a fair few new faces to us. And in talking about Edge of the Earth Iron Man tomorrow, Nick gladly proclaimed that he's going to be playing one of the new investigators.
Yes. So the announcement article for the Drowned City went up a couple days ago to date this episode, and I have gotten it cleared from marketing to play one of the new investigators that was in that article. I'm playing Marion Tavares, our guardian. Very excited for Marion.
Thanks, marketing.
Yeah, thank you so much, marketing team. Also, they were throwing me another bone. I can only play with cards that were released or were spoiled in the article, but I can include one card that was not. And so I will have an exclusive card. I'll be playing at the table next to the Busters, so I'll make sure someone takes a picture of it and posts it on
the
Discord.
livest of spoilers.
It cannot get more hot off the presses than that unless you were literally at the printing place grabbing it and taking a picture. So like last time I did that, I got wrote up, so I can't.
So when you have this card in hand and you're about to play it, are you just gonna be like, Scott? Scott!
I don't know.
Scott, get the camera!
You guys were already cahooting about how you're gonna sit right next to each other and like pass notes through Iron Man.
It's a post Nick Mythos Buster Iron Man tradition. It's a horrible title. It's not that. But no, last
work in progress.
Yeah.
No, it's post Nick Clarity. It's fine.
Got him with it.
That is the episode title. I'm calling it.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God!
Iron
Yeah.
Man finishing his wedding.
We can't let Sean can't have more than 2. Like this has to stop.
Did you miss us?
I very much missed you guys.
It is true though that after you leaving us high and dry,
Call
on the
it what
podcast,
it is.
yeah, after you abandoning us, for Iron Man, we do sit next to each other
Yeah, we do.
on our opposite teams, and I just cackle away
Yeah.
and show you my hand. And
You show me your hand. We giggle about it. I look at Duke. He shakes his head at me.
Well, especially when Luke was doing Luke things. I mean,
Riding a giant manta ray around. his
barricading a
Last year
scenario.
We were like checking in with each other about sniping stuff, and you were making on the spot erratas.
Yeah, that was another thing too. It was like I was like, oh no, I got to do my job now, and I was like, I don't want to rule in this direction because it makes my deck worse and it makes your deck worse. And, no, we didn't. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Wasn't it a big confusion and it ended up actually working out okay without a
I think
errata?
so. It was something like that.
I remember
yeah.
it being like, oh, we just have to actually read the card correctly
Yeah.
or something. It was like, reading the card.
Surprise.
Yeah, reading the card explains the card.
Just
That's
because now
hard.
it is. Just because I write the cards now doesn't mean I still read. I read them. I still read them poorly.
I write the cards so other
Yeah.
people can read
Yeah.
them.
I was elected to lead, not to read. To quote the Simpsons movie. I'm not doing the Rainier Wolfcastle.
Reading the card explains the card unless you're playing Star Wars CCG.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah. God, I fall asleep reading Star Wars cards.
All right, so
There's-
looping us back around from the tangent.
All right.
You're playing one,
Oh, yeah,
one new unreleased card in your Marion deck.
Yes.
That at this point, by the time this episode releases, will probably be out in the wild.
Yes.
Yeah.
So can you say what it is?
Nice.
Okay, you don't have to. It's fine.
Can I?
Remember, he's giving you a ride back to the hotel.
Fair. I don't want to have to Uber.
Is he?
Or is he? Yeah. Okay. When I mean, so yes, it's not going to go up before Saturday for sure.
No.
No, this is
I mean, I don't know how fast you guys work. Maybe you got super efficient
This is
after I left.
November?
This, I think, is November's episode.
Okay, so it will have been out by then. All right,
By
yeah.
month.
Yeah. Okay. So I can't even know if I can say it by heart. The card is called Hunter's Mark. It is a Guardian level 1 cost event. It is fast. You attach it to an enemy at your location. This is where I get mixed up because spoiler alert, I have to print out the most recent version of the card from the office still because I don't think the physical one I have is correct. But it's attacks that target attached enemy. I'm trying to quote it. I don't think, but they all get +1 skill value. And then as a reaction, the owner of the card, when damage is dealt to that enemy, they can discard it to deal 1 additional damage.
No, that's cool.
And so it's nice because in Marion, as we all know from Marion's reveal, is that she plays an event. You get to draw a card and play a different event from hand. So you play 2 events for 1 action or 2 events fast. And so Hunter's Mark is a great one to set them up, and then you play something like Sweeping Kick or 1-2 Punch, and you really capitalize on it. She is a very fun investigator. I absolutely adored her in testing, and she's also the first investigator that I created from scratch all the way through development. So this is the first
shotgun investigator.
She's very much not the
Patently
shotgun.
not.
The opposite.
Yeah.
You ran in the opposite direction.
I did. Yeah.
He needs to have room, so the parallel version.
Yeah.
She gets a shotgun attachment.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. We're
Also-
going full grindhouse.
Wasn't it Night of the Living Dead or something? Was it one where he has the shotgun, the boom?
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead.
Dead,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't want to get too far past it before I wipe the whiteboard clean and write a 0 days have passed since we've made a big Bloodborne reference.
Oh, Hunter's Mark. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, the art is 100% Bloodborne. Like, yeah, the art on it is a night gaunt with a red rune scratch, like etched into its face, and it's descending at you. And I remember writing the art brief and grabbing a bunch of Bloodborne runes, the Carol runes, and being like, it can't be any of these, but something like this would be cool. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
I think and I love pulling different monsters, writing them into art briefs, and like night gaunts are one of my favorites because they're just like a big bat demon thing. So it's like, yeah, it was really cool.
Night Gaunt art rarely disappoints.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Now, I'm printed or having some of those what are they, Loot Studios
Mm,
minis print
the
shop,
minis.
and there's a night gaunt.
It
on
looks
two
great,
pages.
doesn't
looks
it?
Rad.
Yeah.
When I see that art, I think I'm gonna have my friend who paints
Ah.
paint it on.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be
There you go.
amazing. Yeah, those loot minis are gorgeous. I saw
Yeah.
those at Gen Con. They were absolutely beautiful.
So you're
Well, thanks for the episode. Oh,
So tell
I
me
had
all
the guy to jump. I'm like, they're gonna say something. I gotta jump in with that joke. All right, sorry.
yeah, no. So you're playing Marion.
Yeah.
New cards.
New card.
Yeah, sorry. Well, I mean, new cards.
Well, and also I should
in
say
general,
that
'cause there
her
are some-
deck building will be spoiled too, because
Sure.
that was not in the
Yeah.
release article, but I have the card with me, so you'll be able to see the back. So, you won't.
Cool. I mean,
Unless you're planning to spoil it in an article or something later, you might as well say it here for
Sure.
more listeners in
well,
November.
I know that Iron Man this year is all about edging, but please.
So
Not tonight.
not tonight. Tonight it's going all
Edging
in.
is off the table.
Not
Oh,
like this.
geez.
Finishing is winning.
Not like this.
All right. Okay, so 7-3. Okay, so she is deck size is 30 cards. I know, right? We're getting spicy here. A lot of people have been guessing that she's like tactics based, or that she can take events from any class or whatever. But really, what she is at deck creation, you choose one of 3 traits. You choose fortune, gambit, or improvised, all of which are seeing varying levels of support in the Drowned City box. And then her deck building rules are Guardian 0 to 5, Neutral 0 to 5, events of your chosen trait 0 to 2, and then 5 other Survivor level 0 cards. So a decent spread, and it's not uncommon for me to build her deck. I did a lot during testing. I did it for Iron Man, where I finished building the deck, and I'm like, I didn't use my Survivor slots. I got 5 Survivor slots. What am I going to take out? So I picked Gambit for this version of Marion for this run, and so my plan is to be stringing together like Honed Instinct and getting extra actions, and like I don't have a lot. I think I put 1 weapon in the deck, so I don't have a lot of damage compression outside of my events. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, one for the hand. So I don't have a lot for consistent damage compression at level 0, but I should be getting a lot of actions, and I should be passing a lot of tests with those Gambit cards, so that's exciting.
I've heard you can win Arkham Horror, the card game, that way.
Yeah, that is, I mean, pro strat, tips and tricks for all of our new listeners. Pass tests. Done.
Did cut and print.
Thanks, Dev.
Just like see the footnote at the end of a campaign. Hint, try to win.
Do
So
good.
You said this was the first investigator you designed from scratch. Like, what was the... Because it is very opposite of shotgun and your
Exactly.
usual...
Okay, all right.
Your usual thing. So where did this inspiration come from?
So that's a very good question.
Shotgun's
actually.
so good, I wanted to make it bad.
I remember Duke and I talking about investigators for the Drowned City, and we listed off the ones that the established investigators that hadn't been done yet, that we knew were going to be in the box, like those 4, and we knew that we knew Gloria was going to be in there because she had been released but not out yet. We're like, we got to do Gloria, so we'll put her in there, and then and he's like, but we have room for 2 new ones, and he had a design in mind for one, or a concept, and he's like, I would like it if we did some sort of monster killer, like just someone who's just like, this person is a badass, fighter type character. And we were also talking about, because this is the Cthulhu box, draws a lot of inspiration from the Call of Cthulhu. And I mean, anyone who's read Call of Cthulhu knows that there's problematic perception. H.P. Lovecraft was not a great guy. Like, let's be honest. And he had some very nasty things to say about very specific people.
Yeah.
And so we were like, what if we kind of put a positive spin on that, and we create this badass monster killer her family's originally from Cabo Verde, originally from this area that Lovecraft, for some reason, specifically calls out in his book. And so everything kind of built from that. Then it was like, okay, what does her family do? Why is she in Arkham? Why is she, in the U.S. at all? And so, like, I was looking at stuff along the East Coast, and I was thinking about professions that haven't really been represented in Arkham. And I was like, well, we have a sailor with Silas, but we don't really have, like, a fisherman or a trawler or a longshoreman or something like that. And just through that research, I came up with a backstory for her, and yeah, so it really was a conscious decision to be like, let's pay homage to the source material, but also show that we want to be conscious of where the source material falls short on a social level, and do what we can to maybe provide some sort of correction for that.
And I Lovecraft spinning in his grave like a lathe.
Yeah, I mean, sure, I have no problem with that.
So, have your other
Iron Man team members also chosen to
play unreleased investigators?
That's a negative. They're both, so they could, like, and Duke for a little while, bless his heart, has a very hard time committing to a plan.
He went Southern on
Duke, oh Lord, bless his heart. He's no, he his original.
He just talks about representation and then he does that.
No, Duke originally wanted to play an Amanda deck, and I was like, great. Well, actually, let me back up a little further.
Oh shit, there's more.
Yeah, all right. So originally, I was like, God, I play the killer every year at Iron Man. I did with Mythos Busters, and I've done it so far here. Like, I'm either killer or I'm support. I kind of want to be Clover this time, and we need healing, so I'm going to build a.
So I ended up with Marion.
Yeah, well, hang on, we're getting there. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to
twisty turny path back to the same spot.
Well, so my group for Iron Man is me, Duke, and Duke's fiance Ryan, and they hadn't picked people yet, and so I was like, I'm gonna just pick one. I'm gonna play Vincent. We need a Clover and we need healing. I'm gonna play Vincent. Sure. So that was my choice, and I had my Vincent deck built, and I was excited, and I had all my upgrade cards, and I just had to whittle it down to something. And then Duke messages us on Discord, and he says, "Oh, the announcement article just went up," and I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "I just talked to marketing, and they're fine with us playing one of the investigators from the announcement article," and I'm like, okay. And in my head, I'm thinking he's going to play, I don't know, Agatha or something, because she was in the article as well. And he's like, I kind of want to play Marion. And in my head, just alarms start going off. And I'm like, hang on. And I message him, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, I love that you want to play Marion. I'm like, I love that you want to play Marion, but I kind of was hoping that if anyone plays her, it's me, because I designed her. I came up with her. And he's like, you totally should. He's like, I don't want to take that from you. He's very understanding. I'm like, but the problem is I don't want to play Killer. I want to play a Clover. And he's like, well, I don't. He's like, I guess I can play, like, Mark or something. I'm like, no. It's fine. I'll play Marion. And then so I tore my Vincent deck apart and I built Marion. I was very excited. Clover Marion.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Like you do.
Yeah.
So
you chose Insight for your
yeah, I wrote it. I'm like, let me add this little bit on there.
live errata.
Yeah. No. So yeah, and then Duke pivoted. He was like, all right, I'll build an Amanda deck. And then he was like, well, actually I kind of want to build this Kate deck. And I was like, okay. And then, yeah, so currently it's me playing Marion, Duke is playing Kate, and Ryan is playing Parallel Agnes. So it's going to be, Ryan and I are going to be very event heavy, and then Duke is running a 50-card Kate deck with 27 assets. So there's going to be something else going on over there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So.
To Sean's point earlier about I wish you guys could see Nick. Over the course of this story, the whole time we've been talking, he's been sitting back, his back's against the back of the chair, his shoulders are, down, kind of relaxed. He was sitting forward, leaning on the table, arms flexed and clenched, and then as soon as he got to the end of the story, he's sitting back again. And all is well. Was a physical reaction in him.
It was a journey.
Duke and I approach the game very differently sometimes, and I like to have a plan, and Duke is very much go with the flow, kind of make it up as he goes, and sometimes that causes me a little bit of stress, especially when it comes to Iron Man, but I love playing with him. He's a great guy, so. And Ryan's cool too. Obviously. Ryan's more in my camp, where he's more of a planner as well. Sure. So, I messaged you guys a little while, a couple weeks ago, and I was like, hey, do you have that Iron Man planning spreadsheet? Yeah. And you're like, yeah, it's pinned in chat. So I grabbed it and I sent it to them, and Ryan's like, thank you. I'm like, I'm just copying Ian's homework. I didn't do any of this. Yeah. So
didn't even change something.
I was like, okay, this is our plan. We're doing this according to Ian. We're doing that.
Look, there's no
greater cause that we could put that together than for that exact type of situation.
Sure.
Someone was asking about the like the same spreadsheet that we put together for campaigns past, and I was like, yeah, we have those. And I started digging around in our docs. I'm like, they're here, right? And I couldn't find them easily. And I'm like, oh, they might be an Ian's thing. But like, I would love to make those all public at some point.
I did the Dream Eaters one, I think, and I think I deleted it.
No,
I think
you
it was
and I
on
worked
my
on it.
drive.
Weren't
We
you?
did it together. Yeah, we
I
worked
must
on it
have a
together.
copy.
If you have a copy, then great,
Probably.
because I think I did it on my Google Drive, and then I think I deleted it because I was
Right, say that.
like, I don't need that.
Those 62 kilobytes really.
Yeah, a lot of shit on there. I don't know what I
The
got.
second he left Mythos Busters, he deleted all.
Yeah, there was I'm like, I have an Arkham folder. What's in here? Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that.
Took the pictures of Mythos Busters, just cut yourself out of those.
I did, but then I taped them back together to make it look like there was remorse there. Well, thanks for joining us on this episode.
You get one.
I get as many as I want, man. I'm the special guest.
You get either 7 or 3.
Yeah, so I don't want to trump on the dev panel that we're doing as well.
Right.
We're going to talk a lot about like actual like nuts and bolts of Arkham with you guys in a couple days, and I think that will be released.
That might actually be
before this
that
one?
might be before this one, but just
Yeah.
in case, we'll
Yeah,
just
yeah.
stay away from any more.
Sure.
Cool, great show.
You know we can talk about though, kind of dev wise, and we might talk about this on the dev panel. Maybe we'll pull them up on the stage. But Ian, I want to talk to you a little bit because we finished the goat scenario.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Great.
right. Like,
good job, Justin.
yeah. So
You did it.
I had a plan. Yeah. So we have been working on that one for quite a while, and then rolled it out for beta testing at BusterCon 2023. But now we're 15 months later. And it is part of the swag bag for people. So it is, by the point of this coming out, it is in the wild. How you feel about it? Tell us more. Like you did the heavy lifting after Nick left. So.
Yeah.
Nick dropped everything unceremoniously.
Oh, sorry, I'm out of here, guys.
Deleted files through any physical.
You
copies
got
in
everything
a
right, I
fire.
say, as I'm hitting recycle on all the files. Yeah.
Well, there was a
Burning
lot
everything.
of work to do.
No, yeah. So Nick originally started it and did the lion's share of it. We got a bunch of feedback, so it was really taking a bunch of that feedback and stuff we had identified and figuring out what needed to be changed. And it was really the like tightening up process. Like, I'm sure you're very familiar with this by now, Nick, but like I feel like the end part of any scenario is just cutting fat and just like figuring out like, okay, that's cool, but like for example, like we cut a whole location because it's like, actually, we don't need that there. And just like it makes it a little bit more like streamlined and able to access different areas. So it's just a lot of that kind of work. But I think like that process was so valuable in being able to get it to like where it is now.
Yeah.
Not too dissimilar to deck building, maybe. Like just in
Yeah.
those last few
Yeah.
cuts.
I mean, yeah, I think I design things in the same way I build decks, which is like throw things at it till there's like 60 or 70 cards and then cut back from there. Same thing with design. Throw ideas and then just be like, okay, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. Just
What
pull
cards
up
might I
ideas away.
possibly ever want with this build?
Now I want to know what the cards like 60 through 70 were in Fortune and Folly. And we didn't make it.
Oh, the original concepts of Fortune Folly were wild, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, it's just a lot of throwing. But the point I came into this, it was really, like I said, that like streamlining process, making sure everything's balanced, and yeah, I think it's in a good spot now.
Yeah, the bones were really solid to begin with, and we got a lot of really good feedback at the first BusterCon.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who provided it, by the way.
Yes. Plus, people were very thorough, and we got
Largest playtesting session in Arkham history, probably.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't.
Like,
I've only since I've been involved, maybe.
In
Like
a single
people sitting
day.
down at
Like
once.
a single,
to
yeah,
play-
okay, yeah,
to play
yeah, all right.
something,
I would
yeah.
probably that. It's probably the most number of consecutive playtests
Concurrent.
or concurrent.
Yeah.
thank you,
Call
playtests.
Guinness.
Yeah.
Give us our fake award.
Stop calling us.
Why are they in
Why
New
are they-
Zealand?
That was a very bad Irish attempt.
That makes it better.
I mean, it's a New Zealander who's in Ireland working for
Yeah.
this. I get it. I follow the
It's all Commonwealth. Like,
Ever since that talk about representation, now everyone's busting out their worst accent. I will not join in on
no.
that.
You see,
Yet.
Yeah.
that was my best accent.
Scott's like, I really tried.
Yeah, so I'm excited for people to get a hold of that at BusterCon. Obviously, by the time this releases, we will have made the files available for anyone who wants it. And yeah, it was kind of cool to put a period at the end of that sentence. That one was possibly one of our longest running projects.
Oh,
yeah.
Tell me about it.
For sure. Yeah, that was a long one.
And it was kind of a thing where we had so many things going on. It took us a good long while to kind of round back and finally curb that.
I'm trying to remember when I started it. Of course, the episode exists, so it could be easy to go back and check. But like, I'm trying to remember exactly when I started it, because I know even when I was working on it, it was a while. Like, I was stop and go for a while. So yeah, it's nice to see that finally finished. So good job.
It's gonna be wild just to go back and listen to that episode.
True.
Now, to see how
To
the
see
final
where
version
it-
compares.
Yeah.
We should. I'm not gonna commit us to this, but we should at some point do that on stream. Just
Oh.
Here's the things we said.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting because we've been blowing hot air into microphones for so long to just kind of go back and like retrospect some of those key moments.
Are you telling me that you want to turn Mythos Busters into a React channel?
Of our
But
own
you're
content.
reacting to your
react
own
our
shit?
episodes.
That's awful. Sign me up.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
No, now what we need though is like us doing React videos to Mythos Buster stuff, and then you and Duke react
Yeah,
to the
there you
React
go.
videos,
We need multiple
Yeah.
layers of reaction.
and then we'll react to those ones.
You joke. There are videos on YouTube where it's the
People
react to
reacting
the
to the
react to the
react,
react,
yeah.
and it's
Just
just
How
reacts
deep
all
can
the way
this
down.
go?
and I love it.
Just
It's a react all the way down. Well, yeah, so that's cool. We got the special art this year. We work with Ramon Bunge.
Yes.
Bunge? I think is I'm not
know.
sure how to pronounce it.
I'm not either, and I've known him the longest.
yeah.
Ramon, if we said your name wrong, we're sorry.
Yeah, if you're listening.
But yeah, he's a sweetheart, and I love his use of color. Like, so
Yeah.
he did the partner art for Edge, which hopefully everyone will have seen at this point.
The goat main.
The key art for Goat.
Goat
Yep.
Key art for
Mhm.
Did he
Goat.
do
He did
the Constellation? Yeah.
No, that was
Constellation was
Ethan Patrick Harris. Yeah, it was another phenomenal artist.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, Ramon did.
Ramon did the deck
Deck
topper for
topper.
Forgotten Age,
Yeah.
and he did the swarm art for
Oh,
Forgotten Age.
the
or
swarm
for,
art,
for,
yes.
whatever.
He did our,
Swarm
uh,
tokens.
meters, yeah.
He did the desktop playmat.
Yes.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
tablet playmat. Yep.
We've done
Yeah.
many pieces for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
a great artist.
Sweetheart.
I always he's very nice in emails too, because we'll email him like, "Hey Ramon, we're starting up another project and we're wondering if you can do it." He's like, "Oh, I love working with you
Yeah.
guys." Like,
Yeah. He's great.
Yeah.
Well, and for a piece of art that you guys have yet to see, including you, we sent him pictures of us, and he was just like, "Oh my god, it's so cool to see everyone finally."
Yeah, that's amazing.
He was so sweet about it. Yeah, he's a joy to work with.
Yeah, take that, Nick. You haven't seen something we've done. How's it
Oh.
feel?
boy, oh baby, we got irons in the fire that you have no idea about.
Exciting. I can only imagine.
I kind of forgot about that project. I'm really excited about it. Yeah. Gosh.
For those who can't see Nick's body language, he's about to weep, and
It's just
it's hitting so
they're
hard.
showing me it right now. It's so beautiful.
Look at that. Look at that.
Nick, if you can leave the room, we actually have to talk about this project.
So goat finishing is. I regret my phrasing. I regret my phrasing. I did.
Finishing is winning.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I speaking of Goat, I am going to jump in because we get this question a little bit, but reminder for anyone who's not yet played it, it is combat heavy.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Just heads up,
Super
we designed it that
combat
way. It is supposed to be.
Tower defense.
It is
Yep.
it is beatable without discovering a single clue.
Mhm.
You're gonna have a hard time, but
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
do that.
So-
like it is. Yeah.
Yep, wanted to make sure we get that out there
Mhm.
in case anyone is hearing about it here for the first time or
Yeah,
something.
I mean, by all means, take normal decks into it, but you're gonna choke for combat.
We added a couple new uses for clues based on feedback, so cloovers won't be bored.
Yeah.
But you got to be ready to do some fighting.
Yeah, and I'll speak from the last time I saw it and played it was at last year's BusterCon, so it may be a little different now. But my advice to anyone else or to anyone who hasn't played it yet is it is a marathon. It is not a sprint.
Yeah.
So bring decks that can sustain activity over time.
Yeah.
Because finishing is winning.
Yes.
Was that pointed at me because my Daniela deck like
That's every time. I'll bring
too close to the sun.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot that you did tap out, and then Justin and I had to carry it for a couple of rounds there.
We almost pulled it off.
We almost did.
I think
yeah.
we talked about it in a recap.
Yeah.
But we were one turn away from actually pulling it out.
Pretty close. Yeah. I don't even remember who I was playing.
I was so proud of you guys.
Yeah, we knew you were looking down on us from heaven.
It's true. Yeah, so that'll be cool. I'm really excited for that to be out there. We've always gotten such nice things said about Constellation, and I hope people really enjoy the Woods of the Black Goat.
I think it'll be fun if people are open to including in their campaigns. There's some rewards.
There's some cool rewards in there.
Yeah.
And there's an alternate way to include it other than spending XP in your campaign.
Yeah. We can talk about it because it'll be out by then.
Yeah. So
I wanted to get your reaction. I'm waiting to see Nick's reaction to this.
Nick's body language is very weeble wobbly right now.
instead of spending XP,
Because it's combat heavy.
you can take a trauma instead of spending
Oh,
XP.
interesting.
Yeah, so trauma before you go into the scenario,
Yes.
but you can pay with your body.
Yeah.
And if Constellation, because this is canonically the sequel to
Yes.
Constellation.
You wash up
Yeah.
after the
you
wreck.
have that trauma from the
So
wreck.
if your playthrough, speaking to the listener, of Constellation goes anything like most of mine, you already have trauma going in. So that's actually a bit
just
of a
add to it.
Yeah, just
It's fine.
It's-
Once you get to a certain level of trauma, it's just
health is just another resource.
Yeah.
Nick, if you're having trouble with Constellation, there is actually one tip that I've discovered after playing it a few times.
Yeah, what is it?
Get better.
Oh, that's my problem.
Yeah.
Because I've never gotten better.
Yeah. No, we've noticed. Yeah. I played Iron Man with you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
And then I get to watch you each year also.
Hey, sometimes I get some clues too.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but sometimes.
Yep.
I never felt more ineffective than not even with Lola in the very first Iron Man, but when I was playing Finn in the Forgotten Age, and I was watching everybody else run all over the map and do everything, and I'm like, I brought him to literally evade enemies and get clues, and there's never any clues for me to get, and there's never any enemies left for me to evade. And I'm like, what am I even doing? What am I doing here? Like, it was fun.
over there playing Rita. Just
Yeah, I know. Like, why was I? Ugh.
That was non-taboo Ursula.
Oh, that's right.
And
that was
We were like all these
unhinged.
super evade heavy investigators.
And it was like, I do remember the finale to that Iron Man being particularly crazy. Like, I remember all of us standing up and over the table, and
That's because we had we were trying to finish up so we could get to what's
the restaurant that we go to?
Joe
I was
Sensor.
about to say Smashy Joe's. I don't know why.
Smashy Joe's. Good old Smashy Joe's.
I don't know why.
Are they named
That
after
one,
their
but-
signature dish? Because that sounds like a sloppy Joe style sandwich.
You never had Smash Pork?
Never.
It was the precursor to the Smash Burger.
Ooh.
It's been a long day. I'm punching it.
Writing in my book, restaurant.
Yeah, right.
Smashy Joe.
Smashy Joe's is the name of my hole-in-the-wall barbecue restaurant. Like, that's
From
the new
high-
thing.
from
No
high
longer,
school.
Yeah, no, my high school restaurant. No longer band names. Now we're naming restaurants. Yeah, that I remember that Forgotten Age one. That finale was pretty lit. Like all of us, and we're like planning everything out because like we can't move here. If you go here and do that, like that one stands out to me pretty strong. The other time that
because we had the cultists in a really tight room clock was what it was. So we were like constantly in a state of okay, here's what we have to do, and if we fuck up one action, it's probably over.
Yeah, but the impetus for me wanting to play a Clover this time is because Scott, you always play the Clover.
It's true.
It's weird how so I played Zoe and Dream Eaters on one half side, and I'm trying to think.
Harvey on the other side.
Was it Harvey?
It was Harvey. Yeah. Though I did play Yorick in Carcosa.
Yes, you and I were the monster killers.
But
of
I
Carcosa.
think other than that, yeah, I've been Rex and Daisy,
Ursula.
Ursula.
Mm-hmm. And you were Luke last year.
Yeah, Luke wasn't.
He did more control.
He was control. He was jank.
Luke was flex, yeah.
Yeah.
But like you and every like you're Clover a lot of the time.
Yep.
And when I would play opposite you, like I would always include clue cards in my deck no matter what it was. But there was never any clues again. Like even as I'm like, you're getting up. I'm like, God, I kind of want to be the one determining the pace for once. And so I'm like, I'm gonna play Vincent this year. And then nope, I'm Marion. I'm not gonna complain because Marion's great.
Well, sounds like you're complaining though.
But I'm gonna complain a little bit.
Okay.
And next year I will be Clover.
You know, for how much
Whatever.
distress it caused you that Duke was gonna play Marion for a minute, I'm surprised that like your hallmark memory is when you were playing Finn in front of Ian's face.
I wouldn't say that. I would say
How
that's
did you allow this?
I don't even remember. I think I was locked in on Rita. So
You get to play Rita.
Yeah.
Well, it's because like I remember talking about planning for that Iron Man, and I had pretty quickly I was like, or early on I was like, we need to play high agility. We need to play investigators with high agility and some damage capabilities, but really we want to be leaving enemies on the table and making sure they're not a threat by evading them. Excuse me. And Rita was newer, I think. Yeah, 'cause she came out after. God, it all blurs together. I don't remember exactly how that worked, but yeah, I was just like, I'll play Finn because I love Finn.
TCU?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think TCU was hot at the time. Yeah, because I was playing Diana on that one because she finally dropped. I'm like, all right, next Iron Man.
Right, I forgot you were playing Diana. Yeah.
We usually have the roles we gravitate towards, though. Like,
Yeah.
I'm usually Flex, Sean is usually Flex.
I'm usually either killer or flex support.
Yeah.
They've cleavered once.
I play whatever's easiest.
I remember you were Nathaniel Cho for the Return to Dunwich.
Return to Dunwich.
And who were you last year for Innsmouth?
Trish.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Barbara.
Yeah. And then I'm Hank this year.
Nice.
So
Ooh, that would be fun.
I very much with everything else we have going on during Iron Man. I want a direction and point me on it.
That's Hank. That's Hank, man. Yeah. That's Hank.
That's my secret. I'm always
I'm always smashed.
Yeah.
Just like Joe.
Yeah. So that is interesting because this is actually the first year where Scott has not come in hot with his deck list. So do you have that together yet?
Yeah.
2 days before Iron Man.
I'll figure it out.
I mean,
Did I make a mistake?
I'm gonna build it the morning of.
The thing is, though, like,
he's playing Harvey.
yeah,
Yeah.
He's kind of a solved investigator at this point. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think there's a couple ways you can play Harvey, and I mean, I'm going with my usual theme of 30 good cards.
That makes sense.
I have played many 30 good card decks in Sticker before, and Harvey has this really cool thing where he lets you draw more of those 30 good cards, so you have more good cards in your hand. And then what you do is you apply the yellow cards to your game space, and then you win.
And that is a good strategy. That is a pretty sound strategy.
Yeah.
It's pretty bold.
Are you going? Are you including the Necronomicon? And if you are you doing taboo or non-taboo?
I do not have plans to include the Necronomicon.
Oh, interesting.
I think the Necronomicon is really fun, but I think it's also, if you pour a bunch of XP and resources into putting the Necronomicon, and then you don't draw it early or whatever, like, I think it's fun to play, but I think it very much can be a boom-bust scenario.
Yeah.
And I very much prefer
Consistency.
Yeah.
Like, that is my
Especially in
playstyle.
Iron Man.
Is Harvey's ability, forgive me, I've only played with him the one time.
Yep.
Is his ability when you draw cards during your turn, you can draw an additional card?
I'm pretty sure when an investigator at your location draws a card.
But not during your turn.
No?
It's once per round.
But, hear me out.
Yeah.
You could do Forced Learning Harvey and draw 3 cards during the regroup phase and discard 1. If I don't remember if his card works that way. Sean, I'm hoping you're looking it up.
I'm looking him up.
I
Can't remember his last name right now.
because that
Walters.
that gets around, because the thing I don't like about forced learning, And I mean, this happens
The
anyways.
15 extra deck size.
No, I'm fine with that because like by the math, it actually reduces your deck size.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like because of the
in the long
filtering
run,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. Like
No, it's after an reaction after an investigator at your location draws one or more cards from their deck during the investigation.
Okay,
phase.
I figured there was a
okay.
limit. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind then.
And then once per round.
God, I thought I unlocked something there
Yeah.
for a minute, and as a dev, that feels so good. But no, I did not.
You have the power to change.
Taboo Harvey. We need to make Harvey better.
That's a valid question. Is the dev team playing Taboo?
I don't have. Wait, no, Machete's not on the taboo list anymore, right?
No.
Nope,
Okay,
it's
so
free.
I am.
Hashtag free machete.
I'm taboo compliant simply by virtue of not including the cards that are on the taboo list.
That's usually how I roll.
I
One
don't
way
know
to
if
do it.
maybe I am because the taboo list is so long and I just don't care.
I'll coach you on that.
I do care. Like I do care.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
care for the players, you don't care for yourself.
Yeah.
well, no, I mean, it's optional. All right, so get off my back. First of all, second of all, I do think that the taboo list has a place in organized play events. So when I say organized play, I mean FFG organized play.
Yeah.
I think that that's a good way to establish an even playing field for everybody. Is what I think that's what its role is in my mind. Is my team doing that? I am not, but I think I am just by virtue of not doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else is.
Sure. There was a quote I heard from, I was listening to a podcast about a different card game, but they were talking about the ban list in this card game, and it's a competitive card game. It's Magic, okay? Just get off my
back.
I thought maybe it was Star Wars CCG.
No, and they were
The card game he tells you
they
not
were-
to worry
like,
about.
and they're talking about Commander, and Commander is a very casual format. And some groups who play, they have their own ban list, right? And they just, as a group, they decide that, you know, and I think Arkham players have this as well. You hear some people who, before the taboo list existed, they're like, this card's just too good. We're just not going to play with it anymore. And they were positing that the ban list in a card game is not for you and your friends at home. Like, that's not who it's for. It's for the player who goes to Gen Con with a deck and is sitting down with people they don't know, right? Because it establishes a
Common baseline.
yeah, right? Like, okay, like, are you running taboo or no? And you can, judge what you're going to bring to that table or whatnot.
Right.
Brandon from
Optimal
Play, he was a big proponent of that, where he said, he's like, I prefer to play with a taboo because of the power it limits and like the people who play taboo, he's like, I prefer playing with those people, and because there's an attitude about the game, and he's like, not saying anything bad about anyone else.
Of course.
It's just that's the people who are taboo compliant are the type of people that usually play the same way I do, or approach Arkham in the same way.
They're on the
that I
same
do.
level as a player.
Yeah.
And I was pretty staunchly like, who cares about taboo? Don't worry about it. Play whatever you want.
Yeah.
Pick this. Before I was a dev, before I was like, when it was first announced, and I was like, why does it have to be all or nothing? Like, pick the rulings you agree with.
Yeah.
You know, that was my stance originally. But Brandon is the one, like him saying that in Discord that one time. That's what kind of made me go, oh yeah, like no, there is a place. Like taboo has a very clear.
Yeah.
Use and purpose, and like it is very good for the health of the game in an organized play form.
Yes.
And
Like when the four of us sit down, or five of us, but when four of us,
four friends,
four
Four
friends,
of the five of us.
yeah, 4 and or 5 of us.
The rest of us get to figure out who he wasn't.
Surprise! It's himself.
Yeah. Like, I think I feel the same way about you, and I remember there being an Iron Man when we were talking about taboo, and you're like, I don't know, like, you're like, I don't care, this is what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
And I think there was like one taboo card you were considering running, but it was tabooed because of some other interaction with another card that made something, but you weren't using it in the quote-unquote very
Was it intrepid?
problematic way.
It was never intrepid.
It was never intrepid. No.
Scott would not allow you to keep that in your team.
Speaking of intrepid, dude,
Scott, we covered this.
You're gonna give that a boost, but you're right? Like, that's the thing when you're with a group of friends, you can make your own taboo list based on what your goal is, what your aim is for having fun with that game. The taboo list is definitely there for the pickup games. At BusterCon, we're using the flag system again this year, where you go up to a flag, like, hey, you guys playing taboo or no, right? And then you get your answer, and you can either move along. And I also don't think, like, I have never been, and I've had this like happen I think twice, where someone comes up like, "Oh, you guys playing Taboo or something?" And we're like, "Oh yeah, we're playing Taboo." They're like, "Okay, I'm gonna look for a non-Taboo table."
Yeah.
No one cares. No one's offended. Like it's just
they just want to know.
yeah. Like I I would be more offended if they're like, "Okay, I guess," because then I like they're not gonna have fun, or we're not gonna like. There's gonna be some.
Or they play the card that they're very specifically have an affinity for.
Yeah.
Man, this would have been so cool.
Yeah.
Passive aggressive.
My
about it the whole
Necronomicon
time.
is suddenly shed.
The thing is, I don't think people would do that either. But like, it's just the expectations of that group, and I think Brandon nailed it, right? Like there is just and if you go up to a table and they're like, we kind of have our own little taboo list, you can then ask questions, you know, and like, what are you guys gonna? And maybe you find
interesting. You tabooed Mind Wipe. You made it worse.
Yeah.
Huh.
Intrepid lasts for 3 turns.
Intrepid gives you experience when you include it in your deck.
Yeah.
Scott still walks across the room to knock it on.
Are you sure you did that?
Are you sure you still have your copies? Did I burn them?
I can't find them.
Oh, you're not missing much.
Well, look, it wouldn't be an Iron Man if there wasn't late night anxiety at the last minute.
Yeah.
Like,
I have no anxiety about.
we don't have a deck list, so let's get there.
No, I have a deck list. I just haven't physically built it yet.
Okay.
He's planning on bringing his collection with him, and then when he needs a card to play, he's going to search through and pull one out.
He has
True Harvey Walters style.
He has the concept of a deck.
Yeah.
It's actually like a small card catalog with a sliding out.
It just makes a slide whistle noise.
So what element do you think you guys like? I'm gonna be fine. I don't know, like, because my group we're going off of Ian's notes. I barely looked at them. Like
solid start.
when I was giving them giving Ryan and Duke the like, all right, here's our plan. I was literally going off of memory from having listened to your episode about it. So I was just like, this is the things we're looking for. This is what we're planning to do. I'm like, I'll have a printout of the spreadsheet at the game so I can reference it real quick when we have questions. I'm like, but otherwise we're playing the game. You guys, so I'm fine night before. You guys night before, what element do you think is going to be the thing that gets you what is going to be the did we make a mistake going blank?
It's tough for Edge because, as we talked about in the episode, there's not a lot of like, what path are we gonna take? Or,
Sure, there's not a lot of force.
So a lot of anxiety about who gets killed, I guess. But we have the plot armor system. Plot armor. I
Are we
don't know.
making a mistake just completely skipping Ice and Death Part 3?
Yeah, I guess.
Wait,
what
you're skipping? I think you're
scenarios
skipping
we
2.
We're skipping 2.
If it goes well. What if Kenzler goes out MIA?
Kenzler has plot armor. So
Not
how
faster than
many
that.
how many charges?
Oh, right, yeah.
How many charges does this plot armor have?
Oh, so there's 3 specific places. So it's
It's just the purely random picks.
plane crash.
So 3 charges
Yes.
of plot armor.
Yeah, but it's
It's
specific
plane crash. It's terror that the
Terror
terror
the
kills, and then it's
the
the
walking
doorway.
into the,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
doorway.
yeah.
and so all 3 of those. So here's what I propose to you guys: if you draw Kenzler for those first 2 times, and you say plot armor, she's not getting killed, and then you draw her on the 3rd one, you have to kill her on the 3rd one, because then that's fucking fate. That's 3 times in a row you drew her first. You gotta do it.
I'm fine with that.
Yes, my
What
whole
are the
thing.
odds of 3 times?
Exactly. It's not gonna happen. Let's be honest.
Yeah, odds.
really fast.
He is my man.
You know, I'm a gambler. So.
I'll see your opening offer
Yeah,
and agree to terms if you fix Power Word.
and that's beyond my. That's a group discussion. So I'll take that into consideration.
So
What fix? We did fix it.
it's a 1 in 500 chance that would happen.
Yeah.
1 in 504.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. It's fine.
Yeah. If no other partner goes missing from other things. Like that's a 1 in 9. A 1 in,
yeah,
a
yeah,
1 in
you were
9
saying,
pick,
yeah.
1 in 8 pick,
Assuming
1
the
in
rest of
7
the
cast.
cast
full
is still
roster.
full.
Yeah.
Well, let's agree to the dare and fix it months later when this comes out.
Fix it in post, it's fine.
Yeah.
Just dubbed over voices.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though, is like for all our talk of plot armor, like if we never see Kenzler or I think Claypool was the other one we were
Yeah.
considering.
He's the frost token one, right?
No, that's why
He's a good one.
important
No,
Yeah.
we didn't use plot armor. It's like
Yeah.
the adaptive difficulty.
We
where it
were
only turns
never
on when
going to
it's
use
applicable.
plot armor. Yeah.
I always think of this like we had that talk with Maxine about speed running and how this is essentially a speed run.
Mhm.
And when I watch speedrunners, which isn't very often, But if there's random chance in any of these games they're speedrunning and they don't get the random chance that works, they
Scrub
restart.
the run.
Yeah. And
So then that's what you should do.
Oh god.
So this to me is like
scrub the con at that point.
Yeah. Seriously.
this is basically
Stop
saying
the
like if we had the time to scrub
Sure.
and start over, we would.
So is that do you see this as a speed run? Because like is it seen? I know I have my perspective of it on obviously because I participated in it so much. But do you, Scott, see this as a speed run, like the same sort of flex over a game that a speed run is, or is it not so much a speed run but more like platinuming the game, like getting all the trophies?
No, both. So it's like those speed runs where they like there's any certain percentage, all this stuff. Like
So this is 100% speed run.
Well, I want to get the best ending. Like that
Right.
is always my goal. And that was the thing with Innsmouth last year. Is we
Like an all bosses speedrun.
But that,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but what happened with Innsmouth last year?
well, so we were running a convention.
Yeah, we were
while
playing-
also
I'm aware.
playing Iron Man, and the time basically had us. And we decided we wanted to finish at the con because we were also saying, well, what if we play the 7th scenario here and finish the 8th scenario at the hotel? But I'm like, I don't know. But so we still got the best ending, but we didn't get that little note at the end, the blurb at the end.
And the thing that sucks is we knew we would have gotten it.
Oh,
Right.
God.
But
So it's
did
like-
you choose to skip a scenario?
Yeah, we skipped a scenario
Yeah.
which
7.
locked us out. So
Yeah.
like I don't have any anxiety necessarily over Edge. I feel like I have more of a chip over on my shoulder of trying to make up for Innsmouth last year. Personally.
Yeah.
Like,
You got something to prove.
yeah,
man.
something to prove. So I want us to flex on it.
Yeah, man, if Claypool goes out the plane, that is bad news.
That would be
Okay,
Well,
so then,
Claypool is
then
really good.
here's the question: if Claypool gets plucked first, do we transfer the plot armor and say, "All right"?
Oh,
Ken,
is it single recipient?
No, I think you have to before
You have to declare,
start.
yeah.
You are
So
declaring.
before you draw, you say if we get Kensler.
You like, as far as I'm concerned, like when you're shuffling up and you're going to the plane crash, you pick your plot armor person, just take them out of the deck, unless you want to
Okay.
see if you draw them. But
Yeah,
you have to
I
declare.
kinda wanna see
Yeah,
it.
You know what you should do is plot armor should shuffle them back in and then you draw again.
Oh.
Because then if you draw them a second time, you don't get
That's
you don't take
fate.
it back. Yeah, that's fucking fate, man.
No. But then you can
Nick
shuffle them
just
back
really
in.
wants
What if
our
you-
Kensler to
what if
die.
you-
I think we talked about this when I was still on the podcast, and we talked about the concept of like, do you save this partner can? And I've always been of the no, you just see what happens, just play it out. And because I don't care about the canon ending
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
You know, I just want to play the whole campaign, whatever that means.
Yeah.
So plus I think that makes the City of the Elder things more interesting because you can't protect the vote in any certain way. You know what I mean? Like the vote is so much more up in the air. But I also get that in that scenario, version 1 is worth like a shit ton of experience, and version 2 and 3 are not worth nearly as much. If I remember right, City of the Elder things.
Version 1 is also much harder than 2
Yes.
and 3.
Yeah, because it has the shotgun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And the big boss.
The thing,
And the terror.
the thing for me is Iron Man is like we mentioned. It's like the World Championships, right? Like I want to
Sure.
do the best. I want to win whatever. I'm never going to use plot armor outside of this
Oh, sure,
singular
yeah.
time,
Yeah,
right?
Sure. You're only going to use it when it matters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, if you're fine with an asterisk on the wing,
but-
that's fine. Then you're fine with
But
asterisk.
here's the thing: we've
That's good.
modified Iron Man, like with
Uh-huh.
the drawing of the weaknesses, where you can chuck one back, right?
Sure.
The whole idea is that if one random thing has a chance of ruining your entire day that you've spent weeks or months, or in my case, 30 minutes planning for.
So then my counterpoint, not my counterpoint, but my question to ask further, and I guess it's directed at everybody, because I'm assuming you're all kind of in the same boat as that.
I don't think we know.
Well, would that, you say you want it to ruin your whole day,
Yeah.
and I totally get, like, playing,
Big Hand Harvey and getting amnesia.
yeah,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
playing Amnesia, or playing
Big
Jenny and getting paranoia or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I get that because that's every scenario you gotta deal.
Yeah.
But in the case of Edge of the Earth, if you draw Kensler that first time and she dies at the plane crash, does that ruin your experience for the whole game?
If your goal is to get that big ending, like
Mhm.
the canon ending or
Sure.
whatever, yeah,
Okay.
because you can't get it now.
Okay.
And the only reason that happened is because you shuffled wrong.
Well, there's no wrong way to shuffle.
Oh, there are. What's the one where they smear the cards all over the table?
Scott's over there, 32 pair of 12 pickups.
Yeah.
Spraying them all over the floor.
Yeah. Riffle shuffling is incorrect. Yeah.
So are you in a similar boat then, Sean and Ian? Like where it's like, would you derive the same level of enjoyment out of Edge if you went into it going, our goal is the canon ending, fuck, Kensler died right away? Like, would you still enjoy Iron Man Edge of the Earth?
Yeah, probably.
I'm not saying it wouldn't ruin my day, but there would be disappointment there.
I think our thing is that we have kind of set the precedent for our little group, that we pick what we consider to be like the good ending, and good is a very loose term here. Yeah. Like generally, it's the most difficult ending to achieve,
and it has an exclamation. The investigators win the game.
Win.
Yeah, right. And that's generally what we aim at, and
we work backwards from there.
Sure.
Yeah. But and the thing I didn't want plot armor to be is if you take Kensler out into the wilderness and she dies, that's your fault. That's not because you shuffled wrong. That's because you suck.
So are any of you taking Kensler?
No.
I can't imagine you.
I might.
Why?
She's the investigation one, right?
Yeah. Because I'm flex and I might want to investigate from time to time.
But what if she
Because he hasn't seen your deck list, so he doesn't know how good you're getting clues.
My deck list is in our group chat.
It's just a list of all the secret cards.
That's what Harvey can take.
Truly.
Also a couple neutrals.
Yeah.
Everyone forgets about the neutrals, though.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's interesting because, like, again, the way that I approach it is just like, I usually don't have to think about it to that level because even when I was on the Busters, like, I only helped prep with one Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
And so beyond that, I'm just like, what are we doing? Okay, I'm gonna build a deck for that. What are you playing? And I just think about it more on a scenario by scenario basis and not like, what's the goal for the whole campaign?
Yeah.
What if it's just epilogue text and it's just epilogue flavor text, I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, like we don't read that in Iron Man anyway.
Yeah, I don't read that during a regular game. So
no epilogue text in Drowned City.
None.
It's the most bold thing to declare after you've gotten hired to write it.
2 sentences of flavor text per scenario.
So what we've established in this episode is the devs listen to us, and Nick can't read.
I can read. I choose not to.
Just turn the page of the campaign, man. There's nothing there.
Yeah. They're like, should we put something? Nope. Just blank. Leave the page.
Yes. It's an art statement. Well, the reason you also didn't have to plan out anything is you're the killer, so you just found enemies
also,
and just
I was killer.
You cleared the way for everyone else doing the work.
Yeah, right. Those were fun games, though. Yeah. We talk about it all the time, but Carcosa.
Oh, I was just going to say Carcosa.
We're both just saying, there's no enemies in play. I guess I'll go for a clue.
And our trigger finger's just itching. Hey, just like
enemies table. Tear ass across the map.
What's the one in the labyrinth? Like the boss that shows up halfway through and he died in a single round.
Oh my god.
We're not logged in here with you. You're logged in here with us.
That was Yig in our How Low Can You Go? And we're like, oh yeah, wait a minute. No, this isn't fine, actually. I loved it.
Just throwing haymakers. Like, hey guys, what's up? I'm the big evil snake.
Yeah.
So this is gonna sound like a joke, but it is an actual question. Did we make a mistake going with Kensler?
Well, not if that ending is your choice.
Well, and that is actually something I'm now.
Or now you're like, do we?
Closer. Because, and only because it is just a storyboard, which we don't do, and Claypool mechanically means a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Nick. Yeah. Nick just whipped his head around.
Nick, you've successfully sowed the seeds of doubt.
I know.
Well, here's what I will say. If you're not doing
double plot armor,
fucking double down.
You know what?
Well, fuck, everyone's got plot armor.
You know what? We choose who we push on the plane now.
We'll draw 5 and pick one.
Well, and to signify the plot armor, we take the tentacle out of the bag and put it on their car.
Yeah. So that's
Just boot Cookie out of the plane.
Yeah. This plane is going down. We need to lose 150 to 250 pounds.
Exactly.
Whichever.
187 pounds.
everyone's looking around. And there's one person who knows the number.
So, is there anyone other than Claypool that would be mechanically detrimental to lose?
Mechanically, I don't think so. I think Claypool is like, if you're going mechanics,
Other than
he's the
maybe Danforth. Isn't he the Tekalili one?
Yeah, but there are other ways to deal with it.
He's helpful,
Like
but
what?
not-
Just drawing?
just draw them. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just
Harvey.
drawing.
Hashtag Harvey things.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's the thing. Like, if you draw enough of those things, like they're gonna add up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially if you're doing like 3 a turn and you get hit with 2 Tekalilis, like that's rough.
Yeah.
It's just the frost tokens feel worse because it's affecting for everyone.
Yeah.
The
Sure.
probability.
Sure.
I guess the one thing I do have anxiety for is not anything path, but just playing Edge 4-player, because I think most of the other campaigns I had played 3 or 4-player
Same.
before Iron Man, and this one
Yeah.
I haven't.
True.
Same.
So I don't know how it's going to combo again. Because I usually think of Edge as not one of the harder campaigns.
Yeah, it is fairly
I think-
easier.
But that's in 2-player or 1-player, which is what I played
Your-
it in.
I
The
think
maps
that's-
are gonna have a lot more attachments.
Yeah.
on them. I got news for you.
That's
sure.
what I think is going
Yeah.
to be a completely valid concern. Is
Yeah.
that the you know, in 1 or 2 players, you draw one of those things. It's like, all right, well, we suffer it this turn and then we're done.
Suddenly
If
you
you're
get-
in 2 different locations because you had to split up for a second and you were gonna go there, something pops on your location, something
And then
pops on
it's
the
just like,
location you're going to, and it's like, oh. Which is
and those
why-
are nasty. Those weather treacheries are nasty too.
Which is why I'm spending my Kaimani XP on Reality Collapser.
I got Alter Fate. It's
Oh,
gonna
you
be a
remember
big
your 5
workout.
XP?
I remembered my 5 XP.
First time.
Is anyone hashtag? Is anyone taking what's the environmental suit or whatever that
No,
Oh.
anti-hazard
I'm not.
fireman armor, whatever it's called?
Fireman armor.
That's what I think it's a fireman. He's only a fire
That's
act,
what
yeah.
it's called. Get your
Fireman
fireman
armor.
armor.
I got my fireman tier set on.
Isn't that like a level 3 card?
It's a level 3 Guardian Survivor, I
Yeah, I wanna say
think.
Survivor.
Yeah, and it's a 3/3 soak, but you can
Deal 1 damage and 1 horror to cancel a
a hazard. Yeah.
Done.
That's
I-
pretty good.
The art on that thing bothers me so much.
Because
I went on a rant about it on the podcast. But yeah. It was-
Because and it's anachronistic because they basically just were
Well,
like
no, it's
trash
because
bags back then. didn't they?
no, what it is? He's standing in fire.
Oh yeah. Well, he's the fireman.
I know, but that's not how.
That's what firemen play. The ghost
Have you
stand in
seen
fire.
a fireman?
But he's just standing there
Well, he's got to pose for the picture.
in the fire. Like
Yeah.
they go through it quickly. Like the fire suit stops. you
He's
from, like,
moving.
no,
You only see him from the waist up. His legs are going like this.
he's just
While
so
holding,
fully-
holding whatever he's holding.
Just
perfectly
the fire
good.
axe.
Yeah. No, that's because it's a two-handed fire axe, which hasn't been developed yet.
Yeah,
Because you
we're
have the
working on it.
one-handed,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're working on it. It's just we're taking the art from the one hand and extending it. Is
Right,
what
yeah. And it's if you have no resources and no cards, you
Yeah.
get a bonus. Yeah, because
one for each hand.
yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've ever taken that card. I don't think the value.
Fire axe?
No, the
Oh, oh, fireman.
fireman. Yeah. It's firefighter. Okay.
Fireman.
It's, not policeman.
Not
Police
policeman.
police fighter.
Police.
Mailman. Mail fighter.
Police fighter.
Spider.
Oh, I could go for that.
Mailman. Mail fighter.
Mail fighter.
Yeah.
Everything is fire.
All right.
Ombuds fighter.
Before we spin into the deeper depths of pre-Iron Man anxiety, let's wrap this sucker up with a little bit of tentacle time. So what was that, Scott?
Well, what was the rest of the? I suppose we have been talking about topical stuff.
Like, what have we been doing the rest of this?
What was the rest of this episode?
Well, Nick, you go first. What's been grabbing you lately?
World of Warcraft has been my
Nerd!
indulgence.
Sorry.
Well, fuck yeah.
I know.
This is Magic Boy.
Into a magic thinking. No.
I'm a loser. Thank
He's the nerd. I'm the loser. No, I've been playing a lot of WoW. The new expansion dropped about a couple weeks ago. The War Within. It is among the most. I've been playing WoW on and off since it released in 2004. So
20 years.
20 fucking years. This is among the most fun I've ever had in WoW. This is a really, really good time to be into it.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. As the great Owen Wilson would say.
Are you using great there?
I mean, I'm sure he's good at something. I just haven't seen it yet.
Saying wow.
Wow. So that's been occupying most of my free, like the game time that I have that is not the game time that I have has been going to WoW. Beyond that, what have we watched anything new? I don't think we have. Laura and I are often behind the 8 ball on watching things. Like Rings of Power is out. We haven't watched season 2 yet.
I haven't started it.
Yeah. It's probably just that, honestly.
That's enough. I like.
You're like, I know how long you can go on. That's good.
I remember what it's like to play WoW.
Yeah.
It is enough.
Oh, I could talk about my fucking Great Vault, and I could talk about how Outlaw Rogue is sometimes fun and sometimes not, and how it's frustrating, and I really kind of just want to go back to Prot Warrior.
Yeah, you totally could talk about that.
I
Ian,
could.
what are you going to do?
But I love
I've had a smattering of stuff. Nothing new. I think I've talked about all of it before, but that's fine. I've been, in terms of board games, I've been playing 2 of my favorite board games a lot, which is Spirit Island and also Dune Imperium. I finally played the new version of Dune Imperium, the Dune Uprising. They made a lot of good changes, including sandworm minis, which are fun.
What do you say new version? What is that?
It's kind of like a new core set, I guess you could say, but it's backwards compatible with all the expansions. But
how long has Dune Imperium been?
Not even that
3
long.
years?
Yeah, okay. It's not like a newish game.
It's essentially, but it's also like
all the mechanics are the same, but they introduce some new mechanics, like you can pull sandworms into battle. There's like spies.
Pulling the old sandworm.
Yeah.
it's like Dune Imperium. I mean,
as often as possible.
The sandworm mini, if you hold it sideways, does
sad.
look like
They're a little sad. They need a pull.
And you double your rewards when you pull your sandworm.
Finishing is winning.
Let's see what else.
It's been a long day, guys. We're devolving into constant
I got a Steam Deck recently, so I've also been catching up on video games. I've been going back to Midnight Suns and playing through that. I've been playing through Cyberpunk, which I think I can play that game forever.
much less enthusiasm for Cyberpunk. Midnight Suns was mentioned. Yeah, Cyberpunk. Okay.
Cyberpunk has been given its flowers. Midnight Suns
has it? Has it?
Well,
I don't think it has.
Now it has.
Okay, maybe now.
At first
maybe
it got
12 months after
on,
release.
Now it's mostly people like rave about Cyberpunk. It's funny how it kind of got a No Man's Sky glow up where everyone hated it at first, and now after a bunch of fixes, it's kind of. But I love Cyberpunk stuff. But yeah, so I think that's where I'm at with stuff.
How's your WoW game going?
No, I've never played WoW in my life.
Well, shoot.
I've only played WoW over a couple days. One time, it was to get a card back in Hearthstone. You had to get to level 20.
Oh, sure.
And
That doesn't take long.
No, it doesn't.
No, but well, I mean, it did because I was terrible at it. I didn't know what I was doing.
I suppose if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, and like this guy, I met up with this guy in the world or whatever, and he was kind of helping me and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, you got to level 20, congrats!" I'm like, "Yeah, thanks, bye."
Thanks again.
Yeah, delete. Like I literally deleted the game. I was like, I don't care anymore. Like confirmed I got the
As he's
card back.
talking to you, you're like dragging it towards the trash.
And it wasn't even like I hit delete, I hit shift delete, right? So it did, like it just yeeted it into the sun. Yeah.
I think the only MMO I've ever played is Star Trek Online, which is probably not shocking.
It's not shocking.
Not a Star Wars game?
No.
Oh, neat.
I mean, the only option is SWTOR, and that one was.
I did think about playing that one, but I never got around to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
They've made it too easy now, but it was fun back in the day.
I mean, all the MMOs are too easy now. Like that's
like the level grind is like super simple.
But here's the thing: when I went back to, sorry, I'm fucking.
Here we go.
It's but it's all this is technical time. This is my section, my segment.
I created this.
I wanted this. With WoW, like when I came back to WoW. I originally came back for WoW Classic, which is the re-release of the original version.
Yeah, I played that a bit.
I did that, and in like 3 hours of playing, I was level 4, and I'm like, this is too fucking slow. Give me retail now. Like I'd be like 10 levels up at this point.
Oh man, I stuck with it to 25, and then like you really start to feel the creep at that point. I'm like, I don't have the time.
You don't get a mount until 40, and it's 60% move speed, not 100.
Yeah.
You don't get the fast mount until 60. There's no flying. What the fuck are we doing?
Playing Hunter, so cheetah aspect of the cheetah does a little bit of the work, but like
and if you get hit, you're dazed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
It's
fuck
no
off.
Good. It's no good.
good.
Wow.
You're selling it.
Yeah.
That's classic WoW. Retail WoW's great.
I don't care. You're still selling
I know.
A friend of mine at work, he has a WoW server that him and his buddies play on, and they have like you what do you call it, level up at like 2.5 times the speed or something because you can adjust
There's a
things.
there's a lot of independent servers. I don't know what you call them.
Yeah,
Rogue. But yeah.
rogue servers, yeah. But it's just like 6 of them, and they just do raids and stuff like that. And they just want to level up, and yeah, I could see myself playing that. Anyways, my technical time, still occasionally playing Helldivers, which, yeah, I don't know.
This got a big update. Yeah.
It did, yeah. I haven't been able to play
Man,
it
me
yet.
neither. We've been putting on a con.
It happened while I was flying, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so really excited, and the update looks amazing. They almost lost me because they basically, it's a cooperative game, and they were so worried about balance that they just started taking away all the fun things.
Truly.
And I was just like, can you just stop? Like, let me feel powerful.
Yeah.
That is the point of this. Like, it's not a competitive game where money's on the line. This is a co-op game. I'm fighting imaginary things. Like, it just, I don't know. And I think they finally listened because they were getting like negative review bombed, and they came up with this.
They're getting review bombed for a lot of other stuff.
There's also the whole Sony thing, but like they came out with this like fire-based expansion where they're like, oh, it's gonna be cool, and then now
Was Fireman in it?
no, Firefighter was.
Okay.
Yeah. There's Bug Fighter. But yeah, they came up with this expansion, and at the same time, like, essentially nerfed all the fire stuff, and so everyone's like, what are you doing? Like,
Here's all the tools. By the way, they suck.
Yeah, and it was just like, and
I built you a playground and I peed on it.
Well, and it would turn into, you would have one main tool you'd play with.
Yeah.
That would turn into the meta, and then you're like, oh, no, just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, like my favorite primary gun got like nerfed into the basement. The incinerator shotgun one.
Yeah. I mean, it is really good.
Like, I mean, for the bugs, yeah. Like, it was fantastic. And even after it's nerfed, I'm like...
I'm pretty sure the bugs didn't like it.
Yeah, well...
It was good for me, great for the bugs.
But they're not people. I'm people. Those bugs didn't buy the game. I did.
It's afraid.
Anyways, Helldivers, Magic, Commander. Only Commander. I don't play any other format because that's all terrible. Commander's amazing.
I don't know, draft is really fun. Like, cube draft is really fun.
I did have a good time with draft.
Drafts can be fun.
4 out of the 6 people in our game group had a really good time with draft.
The other 2 got kicked out of the group.
So you're saying there's spots open?
I'm saying playing Magic brought the evil out finally.
Have you seen Sharpie Cube? Have you heard of Sharpie Cube?
No.
So what you do is you build a cube, a drafting cube in Magic, but you take all these cards that are just absolute trash, and as a group, like, you take cards and you strike off things with a Sharpie, and all you can do is like cross things off, and so it's like something like the card Approach of the Midnight Sun or the Second Sun or whatever. It's like if this is the second
Midnight Suns.
if you have played this card already, you win the game or something.
You just cross out if you have played this card already.
But you just, it's like, you win the game. Like, but there's other things where it's like you turn like really bad cards into good cards because you take away the negatives. But then there's also tons of really funny ones, like where there's like double entendres and you change, like, you use flavor text as part of, like there's one I saw, it's like gain control of target human child or something like that. And people will Sharpie out like just like parts of a word and just have like single letters showing so you can spell things out. So honestly, just go online. This is to listeners too. Go online, just look up Sharpie Cube funny, and it like I die laughing at some of these. I'll show you guys after the show, but yeah.
I'm gonna do the thing I did with Ian now with you.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, Evan Sean, told me about a format of Magic. I can't remember the official name. I can't remember the name of it, but we call it the Dan format.
Dan.
Where
it's like an 80 card deck.
Yes, and you share the deck.
And you just erased it to play Dan first?
Yeah.
Oh my god, we gotta do that at some point.
Dan, like, it's so interesting because it's like
Dan's a giant fish, by the way.
It's
like,
a terrible
literally
card.
looks like just a big like grouper. Like it's not even like a scary fish. It's just big.
Yeah, and it's like in order to attack, you have to control an island, and your
the
opponent
defender has to have an island. And so you share an 80 card deck that's all islands, and like draws and cancels and like 4 dandans.
But the thing is, like, there's
You just made a different game using Magic cards.
Yes, well, that's exactly it.
But that's like honestly, like that's what I'm learning about Magic is that it's less a game and more a game system. Like Commander,
That is a spin.
because Commander is very different from
He's been thinking about this.
Yeah.
like Commander's very different from like 1v1.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
And like it's also different from like standard formats because you can put 4 copies or whatever. And you get things like Dandan and Sharpie Cube and like
Yeah.
it just I don't know. I think there's things I hate about Magic, which is it chokes out every other card game in a card game store, which I get and I understand. But Commander's a blast and I can't shit on it for that.
I'm just still laughing at it's a game system.
Well, for real. But one of the cool things about Magic, and one of the reasons that I hate it so much, is that it is so popular and so well supported that like it's got enough people that shit like that can exist, and then get popular enough that a wide variety of people adopt it, and then it becomes a thing. And
Commander is the most popular format now, and it started as something that the judges played after the day was done, and they're just like, hey, let's just shoot the shit and play these old weird cards and practice being judges in rules interactions with these weird cards that can't play in format, right? Like that.
Yeah, like make it so that the card interactions are like infinitely complicated because of all these different cards.
Like, imagine if there was a Star Wars CCG format that was like the Probe Droid format, and you share a deck, and it's like the first person to play a Probe Droid, and you're just digging through trying to find. Like, that's what Dandan is essentially.
But I like Dandan because like there's a lot of top deck manipulation.
Yes.
So like I know you are drawing your card next, and so like I'm gonna.
Justin's so ready for us to be done recording.
Anyways,
He forgot. This is why they don't invite me.
I will stop talking about Magic.
For
Justin,
those who can't see my body language, I'm off at the edge of the table with my head in my hands.
He's doing the old temple row.
Justin's tired. Justin, what's been grabbing you?
Oh, you're done talking about Magic?
Yeah.
So I have not been playing Helldivers, but we just saw our buddy Brian sent us a list the other day, and because we play that a lot on our group game nights. I'm very excited about the changes.
Yes. The 500 kilogram bomb is now actually
good.
Does what it does on the screen.
I'm most excited about the anti-material rifle
Yes.
because I play that one. I know you run that one quite a bit
do.
as well, and it's gonna be juicy.
So good for medium-sized bugs and all bots.
Yeah.
Bots. Oh,
Yeah, I just remember the first time I busted that out, and then Brian was like, "Why are you playing with that?" Because it's good.
Okay. Brian's also the person who's like, he finds his one gun and never changes off of it.
Yeah.
So,
But no, anyway, I'm excited about that, but I've not yet played it. I have been playing on PS5 Cult of the Lamb.
Oh, yeah.
It I think it popped as like a free one, not the monthly games with the other one, so I gave it a try. It's been on my list. It is like a Stardew Valley Harvest Moon
Cult simulator?
It kind of, but then so that's you have to keep your cult growing, but then you also it's a roguelite where you go and you have to like that's how you progress the story part of it. But then you also have your cult members, but they die off over time because they age, and so you have to balance a bunch of different systems. But it's all set with cute little cartoon animals.
Yeah.
It's delightful. Strong recommend on that one. You can couch co-op it with people, not online, but couch co-op.
that's a cool feature we don't see very
I know.
Right. Yeah. One person plays a lamb, the other plays a demonic goat.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in.
As you do.
Say less.
So, been doing that. Otherwise, not a ton of game time because this is in advance of BusterCon. That's been a lot of my time, but I am. I don't know when the next time we'll talk about it would be. So, I randomly picked. Did we talk about this last time already? Redemption.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
That was fresh. This is new.
So
This is new.
I was at my wife and I were at the local half-price books, and I was in the game section and saw this stack of cards.
We're finally going to explain the Eve joke.
And I'm like, okay, what is this? And I flip over and the first card is Christian Martyr. I'm like, oh, that's a something.
Spicy meatball.
And so I pick up this deck for like $10, and I send it to these guys. I'm like, have you guys? This game it says Redemption on the back. Have you heard of this? And immediately, like the chat's blowing up. Like, brother, I've played that.
Yeah.
like
3 out of 5 of us know that
yeah,
game.
background, and I do not mean to denigrate anyone who enjoys Redemption unironically. That's cool. I'm not yucking your yum. However, I was raised very Catholic, and I'm not Catholic anymore.
And we have Redemption to thank for
But there was a time where at a Christian music festival, no less, the friend that I first started playing Star Wars CCG with, we wandered into like this little kiosk where there was a bunch of vendors selling stuff, and we see card game cards, and it's like, my mom will buy me these. Do you want to? Should we? So yeah, we bought a few singles and a couple starter decks, and it was a game.
Okay, but who's headlining at the Christian concert?
Let's hear. That year's DC Talk.
Okay.
Of course.
I'm trying to think who else was
Early
there.
2000s, right?
Yeah, it was some kind of zombie era.
Zombie era?
Some
Kind of zombie.
Oh,
zombie,
gotcha.
yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
We also saw Red Jumpsuit Apparatus.
Oh.
I'm trying to think who else was there that year.
Silverline? No, I don't know.
Yeah. Toby Keith.
Okay.
No, not Toby Keith. Not Toby Keith.
Toby Mac?
Thank you, Toby
Yeah.
Mac.
I was like, that would.
Yeah, no, the second it left my mouth, I'm like, that is not the right genre.
The reason I'm interested, for anyone who doesn't know, in high school I was a radio DJ at a Christian radio station, and I did the Saturday night show from 7 to 11 that did all the Christian rock, and it was CJTK 95.5 FM in Sudbury, 89.5 FM in North Bay.
Who were your favorite ones to put on?
Five Iron Frenzy, who I still listen to this day. We actually, though Five Iron Frenzy, we weren't allowed to play all of their songs. There were songs that because they had some songs that touched on some topics which I think were appropriate to touch on and should be talked about. But there was some uppers, like
Sure.
at least twice to 3 times during that 4 hours we'd get calls from people who were like, why are you playing this devil music on the radio? Because it was yes, and they would get
It's almost like the
angry at
difference
us.
is entirely aesthetic.
Yeah, and so they would get really angry at us. But
Five Iron Frenzy was there, but I was not into like heavy metal yet at that point.
Five Iron Frenzy ska.
What?
Ska.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Are you thinking of POD?
No.
Oh.
POD was
mine,
not in
yeah.
Wilmer, Minnesota.
Okay.
That's also true.
Not as far as I'm aware. Yeah, I'm trying to. I'll have to look back at. I'll have to ask Travis.
Fire and Frenzy has some good songs. I don't know, they're good. Yeah, they pushed a lot of boundaries. It was awesome. But
anyway, Redemption Bible game.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, no, I picked that up just to try out because I thought it looked neat, and then I was also raised in a conservative Christian household, and so I was like, wow, they actually made a card game out of this.
If you know Bible lore, it's kind of interesting to like roll up and be like, oh damn, like Jeremiah's kind of broken. Like Isaiah's really good. Wow. Have you seen? He's a 7-8.
Eve's stats are 7-3. And there it is.
Yeah. I remember the single I bought was the like multi-headed beast from Revelations. That was a fun one.
My favorite part of the rules of the game is if anything you would do in the game or around the game or whatever would contravene rules or laws within the Bible, you can't do it. Like the Bible, the actual Bible is the
Leviticus chapter 3 verse 7.
Judge, my opponent is wearing a fabric of 2 different
woven
from 2 different fabrics. Yeah, that is a disqualification.
Sorry.
I love how
with you.
The holy that's how you pass the turn.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that's amazing.
Well, that's how we're going to do it when we play this after Buster's on.
Chat 2. Play, fuck, I don't know, a goat, and also with you.
It's another card game that has mana.
Real man at this point.
Yeah.
But no, I'm very much looking forward to cracking into that on Dead CCG
The Holy
Day.
Bible is a supplementary rules text.
All right.
The comprehensive rule book.
Okay.
New Testament.
I'll keep mine short. I'm continuing my watch through of. I finished Clone Wars. I'm on to Rebels. I'm into season 3. I'm now fully on board with like late stage Clone Wars and like pretty much everything after the first half of the first season of Rebels is really good Star Wars. I am very much enjoying it. And now I know like so many more of the characters that they've released in Unlimited, because now I have found that a lot of the Unlimited choices for characters is very it's very Disney character heavy.
Sure.
So like stuff from those I don't know, like
That's why I
Ezra.
don't know half.
Like Minnie Mouse and.
No, I just watched the Bendu
Goofy and-
episode. Now I know who Bendu is, and he was a fun
Bendu
character.
is, incredible.
No, imagine you remember like the turtle in Neverending Story, where it's just like this big crazy mythical creature that just bombs in and like tells the main character some shit and then bombs out, and you're like, that was cool. That's Bendu. Yeah, so that's been really good. I'm looking forward to moving on to Andor, and then
You
I
still
get.
haven't watched Andor?
No.
Right? Isn't it a travesty?
I'm going.
Mr. Star Wars.
That is a crime.
I'm knocking out the animated series
Yeah,
first, and then
okay.
I'm moving into the live action.
Sure.
Because then I get to watch Mandalorian season 3, and then I get to
What?
and then I get to watch Ahsoka.
You can skip all that. Just go to Andor.
Ahsoka
is great.
All right, I don't want to divide the house here.
Ahsoka would be good
He'll kick us
if they
out.
just cut out
He's
about
ready to.
six or
Start the Star Wars dialogue.
6 or 7 minutes of pensive thinking from Ahsoka from each episode. They just took that out because she does a lot of this. And this is terrible for an audio podcast, but it's like
She crosses her arm and
scowls.
and scowls at something.
But he
And like,
needs to finish Rebels before he watches it. So
that's fine. Yeah.
It's true. It's
I mean,
true.
I watched Ahsoka without watching that.
well, he's gonna get so much more out of it. So
Yeah.
by
I'm
watching
holding
Rebels.
myself to an unrealistic standard, but it's what's kept me out of staying
pretty
up with
realistic
Star
'cause you're
Wars.
doing it.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it took me this long. That's what kept me out of like participating in Star Wars so long, because I missed the boat on Clone Wars, and after that I'm just like, fuck it. Well, I guess I just don't know what's going on now. A fake Star Wars fan suddenly, but anyway, so that's been good. That's been going well. Video game wise, and I haven't really been playing a whole lot. I managed to get my wife into Bloodborne, which has been a very special experience, because she got into Elden Ring because she's very much into exploration games, and then because that game also demands that you learn combat in order to play it, she then got good at like Souls combat, and I'm like, you should play Bloodborne, and she completely fell off of it the first time I tried it, and I was like, okay, it's fine.
I mean, that first wall.
Yeah.
Getting to the first boss
Mhm.
is difficult.
Yeah. Well, and Cleric Beast is where she fell off the first time. And like, it just kind of it takes a while to click into the different movement and combat of Bloodborne when you're coming from like a Souls or an Elden Ring. But anyway, she's completely vibing on it now. She's all but beat the main game. We had just started Old Hunters when she's now dog sitting, so she doesn't get to play without me there, which is nice. I'm not missing anything. So that's been fun, but it's also, that's eaten into me playing video games because she's playing them instead. But it's been a worthy trade.
What weapon is she using?
Sword cane, or not sword cane.
Threaded cane.
Yeah, threaded cane.
One of the class.
Yeah, exactly. I was like that, and I keep trying
Sorry,
to like
which class?
threaded cane, and I keep trying to like nudge other weapons at her. I'm like, oh, yeah, Kirkhammer's kind of cool, and the Beast Cutter's a little bit like the cane.
I'm only ever annoyed when people stick to one weapon when it's not the threaded
That's-
cane. But when it's the threaded cane, I'm like, yeah.
It's entirely fair. That was my first playthrough too. I didn't touch any other weapon until I got the Blades of Mercy or whatever off of Eileen.
I did go Kirkhammer because fucking giant hammer go smash.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great. The only other thing I've been doing is I finally got back into Tears of the Kingdom, and I keep getting
The
back.
Zelda game?
Yeah, it's the sequel to Breath of the Wild, and I keep saying, all right, well, I've completed all the regional events. I'm gonna clear up a couple side quests and then go rush the castle, and then tens of hours later clearing side quests and I'm not bored of it yet. I'm like, oh god, this game is so fucking big. So eventually I will beat that thing and be able to move on. I downloaded Vampire Survivors on my Switch, so I'm looking forward to that one.
That's fun.
But yeah.
So you have like 700 hours in Vampire Survivors. It's easy to lose yourself in it. That and Brotato.
No, Brotato. But yeah, so I don't actually...
Brotato?
we never talked about Brotato?
The six-handed put.
Oh, well, we won't do it.
Okay,
I'll talk
yeah.
about it.
I'll talk about Brotato on a future tentacle
I
time.
can,
I'm
Okay.
sure.
I can download on my phone. I'll show you.
Scott, you would actually like it, I think.
Okay.
It is
Okay.
fixating.
Yeah, you guys have never really let me wrong. So.
That's
No,
fine.
I thought of yeah.
Oh, you were saying that second?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I left.
I mean, I took it sincerely.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
fuck you. Anyway,
On that.
yeah, so I'll report back on Tears of the Kingdom when I actually finish it, but I'm very much vibing on it. It's a really cool game. So yeah, well, we're very excited. Well, I mean, BusterCon will have already passed by the time anyone's listening to this, so we were very excited. We have been excited about BusterCon.
Yeah.
Getting pumped for Iron Man. Nick, thank you for joining us. I'm
Thank you
sure
for having
it was
me.
nice for us to have you back on the, especially for the in-person recording.
Yes, I know. This,
Yeah.
This is one of the highlights of my year.
Yeah, for
In
sure.
the house with you guys.
Same here.
For sure, it's
Birds,
always.
fire, wind, water, fire.
Who's what?
You get to be Captain Planet now.
No, we can't summon them.
We can't get them. No!
BusterCon is Captain Planet.
There you go.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, so thank you for joining us. Thank you, listeners, for joining us, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.